Well, hello there. I'm Jamin V, and welcome to episode 3 of my 1.14 Minecraft Let's Play. In my last episode, I built this house that I'm standing in right now. We went on an adventure and we built a blaze farm. Between episodes, I did quite a lot of exploring. This map that's almost completely filled is where I am now. You can see the little green arrow right there. That's me. And I did a lot of exploring. You can see a desert down here. There's a jungle over here. There is the closest ocean monument is right there. There are two more up here that are fairly close to each other. I have found most of the things that I need. So I found a third village that's in between these two villages that's pretty populous. So if there's not enough villagers here, I can go to that one first. I found a jungle, grabbed all the things I needed from a jungle, found a desert, grabbed some cactus. Finally, I can start laying out some green carpet and get rid of all this torch spam out here. So that'll help quite a bit. I'm also pretty excited that I got scaffolding because I got bamboo from the jungle. Watermelon will also be pretty nice because now I can brew potions. So that's fantastic. I still have not found acacia wood. You saw the witch hut in the last episode. I found the 3 guardian temples, and I found a raid tower, and I found a coral reef, and I grabbed a bunch of coral stuff. So pretty exciting. Got a lot of exploring done. Eventually, I probably like to fill all this map in. It'll be a lot easier once I get an elytra. If you're wondering, yes, I do have access to the seed. I can use the seed to get information about the map. I have decided not to. I think it's a lot more fun to actually do the exploring yourself and to not know what to expect. And, you don't always have access to the seed if you're playing on a server from somewhere else. So it's kind of interesting. Once you get an elytra, you can find pretty much everything. It used to be really hard. You'd have to go out looking and just hope that if you went in 10,000 blocks, you'd find like a mesa or something like that. But now with Elytra, you can travel so far, so fast. It's actually pretty easy. The only thing else that's pretty challenging is slime chunks. But I know a way to deal with that, and we'll deal with that fairly soon. It's a lot easier if I have a beacon when I do that. But we should be able to get a beacon fairly soon. We've got, a looting sword. We've got a nether fortress. So that's pretty high on the top of my list because I can't do any farms that have flying machines until I have a slime farm going. The first thing I'm going to do is go to that first village and grab some villagers. I'm not too far away. You can see my main nether portal right over there, so I don't have very far to go. And here's the second portal right over here. I am going to have to cover all this because I'll be moving in a boat fairly slowly, and it's a little bit dangerous to try and shoot gas if I see them. So normally you dig through netherrack to get the tunnel, but I have to actually build the tunnel. Now there's a few things that I've learned. I've done this before, and there's a few things I've learned from suffocating villagers. The first is you want to try and stay on the same level. You can go down, but it's very, very hard to go up levels. It's a lot easier, especially in the nether, if you just stay on the same level. That's why I started the portal from the nether. I can always move it wherever in the village once I get on the other side, and it should sync back to this portal right here, and then I don't have to go up or down through the nether at all. The second thing I've learned is 3 high ceilings. If you're moving in a boat, they're going to get their head crushed if the ceiling's only too high. They're going to crush their heads, and they're going to take damage, and they're going to die, and you don't want that. And especially once you've taken the effort to get them into the portal, that's enough work. You don't want them dying on the way there. The third thing I've learned is you need an air block on both sides of the portal. Now it's, you'll be knocking them out of the boat, send them through the portal, so you definitely want to pin them in. But you want to make sure there's at least one block of air on the other side of the portal. Otherwise, they'll spawn on this side, they'll suffocate in the block, and you'll come on the other side, and they'll just be dead. So I got to finish building up this tunnel after I kill this ghast. And I will be back, and we will set out to moving some villagers. Hopefully there's still at least 2 there. All I need is 2. I've got this tunnel all built up, and I'm just now realizing that I probably should have tested this nether portal first to make sure I'm even going to the right area. So here goes nothing. Alright, village. It depends on... There's one villager here. So that's not too bad. Is it nighttime? Can I just, like, sleep in a bed? No, not yet. Alright, so... It's worth mentioning that you can move villagers in minecarts, but I just find it's easier to do it... Oh, we got 2 villagers right here. It's easier to get them into... Alright. Well, that doesn't work for me, unfortunately. It's easier to get them into boats than it is minecarts, and it requires less setup, so it's the way I prefer to do it. Come on, I can bring them down. Oh, this is going to be a hassle. I've got both of them in a boat. The problem is this right here. This makes the levels uneven, so I had to actually craft a shovel because I didn't bring one with me. But I did bring stone and sticks, so that should work. And then all I got to do is pilot the boat so that they're over the nether portal. And then let's back that up a little bit. And break the boat, and they should just teleport right through. There we go. I got one in a boat with me, so all I gotta do is take it down this tunnel. It's a slow process, but it's well worth it. I probably didn't need 2 high roofs since I'm transporting 2 babies, but I didn't know that ahead of time, and 3 high roofs is definitely the way to go. The other one apparently went back through the portal. I should have put him in a boat first. Jeezies, guys, the other one went back through the other portal and back into the nether. But he just hopped into the same boat. Maybe they'll both go through the nether portal here. Looks like, alright, that works. All in all, everything went pretty well. I've had it work a lot worse than that. That was actually pretty smooth. Couple bumps, not too big of a deal. I got them in this rudimentary village here. Let's toss some food at them. That should support up to 9 villagers. I need 8. I need 6 to get an iron farm started, and 2 more just to keep the breeding going. And so I don't know how I'm going to get them out of here when I got the 8. I didn't really think ahead very well there. Here we have another one of Nembaum's fun farms. The link is in the description, of course. This is a much newer one of his farms. Obviously, as iron farms have been completely reworked for 1.14. And I've seen a few around, mostly that just have 1 module. And this one's interesting because it has 5 modules, and the zombie moves around so as to not upset all of the villagers at once. It kind of hits the perfect timing to right as they're willing to make an iron golem. The zombie gets there, they spawn the iron golem, and then it goes on its way, and they are no longer in the alarm state. They take up a lot more ticks when they're in the alarm state. So this is a much friendlier on resources mob farm than the other ones where they are almost always in alarm state. So this is really, really interesting. I'm going to build just 1 module for right now. I'm going to build the whole railroad track. I could just leave the zombie in one place, but I think it's a better idea to just build the whole railroad track ahead of time. And then I only have enough villagers to fill 1 module anyways. And the other thing I need is some packed ice to move things along. But if I just have the 1 section, I just need to find a little bit of packed ice to move it from there through to the... I can just put a chest right here and not have to worry about all the packed ice just yet. I think it's worth mentioning that Nembaum's design involves end rods, and I don't have any of those yet. I've tested a couple of designs, and this seems to work fine. I think you still want light, but other than that, this seems to work okay. And I've also tested and found that if you set it to nighttime, you can work on this, and you can place the end rods. You can come in and change the end rods as long as you wait until after the zombie has just gone by. Here I am back in my world, and I've identified the spawn chunks. This block right here, this glowstone, this is the spawn point, and I found this with a compass, and you see that wherever I stand, it points toward the middle of these forest blocks. This is the southeast of those blocks, And it is actually coincidentally right on a chunk border, just like that. So that means that these 4 chunks right here are the center of the spawn chunks. So if I go 6 chunks in every direction, including this chunk right here, I will then hit the border for the spawn chunks. You see I've marked it over there, and I've marked it in every direction, and I've marked the corners. This one's over on the other side of the island, and there's one in the corner in the trees over there. I want to build the iron farm inside the spawn chunks because I want it producing iron all the time. And this is just my temporary base right here, so I won't have to look at it all the time. I'm going to move to somewhere else that's outside of the spawn chunks because I don't really need all of this to be inside the spawn chunks. And then I won't have to look at the iron farm. It's going to be kind of ugly. I might make it pretty at some point in the future, but I probably won't, honestly. So there's one small problem, is that this house right here has a bed in it, and I built it kind of close to the spawn chunk center, and I need any beds to be at least 60 blocks away from the village. Iron farms are villages. So that takes up 4 of the 6 chunks that I can go in any direction. And the iron farm itself is about 3 chunks wide. It's a little bit smaller. So that actually leaves me with a negative amount of space unless I move in this direction. See, the bed is actually on this chunk and it's slightly less than 3 chunks wide. So I have just enough space, and I can also go a little bit diagonal in order to give myself a little bit more space, which is good because there's basically just a big old crater over here. So I don't really want to build on that. So I think I'm going to come over here and build up on this hill over here. That's where, Vindicator. Oh, that's a whole raiding party. I'll deal with them in a second. But I'm going to build it over here, and that should be far enough away from the bed in my house that I don't have to worry about it, in the bed interfering. It's hard to tell from this time lapse, but I fell a ton while making this build. Thank God for feather falling boots. They saved my life more than once. I love scaffolding. It's a great block, but it is really hard to place blocks on the side of scaffolding. I kept trying to hold shift to stand straight, and that makes you move down. And then I was trying to stand on the edge, and I just kept falling over and over. It took me way too long to realize that it works best if you place scaffolding next to your scaffolding and then place the block you want on top of that scaffolding instead of trying to place blocks on the side. Once I figured that out, everything went really, really smoothly, and I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. While running back to my house for supplies, I ended up running into 3 Endermen, and thanks to the magic of looting, I got 10 Ender Pearls from those 3 Endermen. So that, combined with the 6 I already have, means that I'm going to be visiting the end real soon. So I think this is going to be the hardest part, and that is getting one of these guys. Ooh, man, they poison you? I don't really mess with one of these very much. Does one of them just walk into the portal anyways? I think I can move them with a lead. Failing that, no, looks like I can't. Failing that, I'm going to have to use a boat. And I've reserved mine carts as an absolute last resort. Oh man, he's going to hit me the whole time. There's going to be like 3 of them on the other side, isn't there? Let's get our sword ready. Though this is sweeping edge. So let's use the bow instead. So we're using a husk because then I don't have to cover the whole... Oh, there's just a regular zombie too. Then I don't have to cover the whole thing with a roof so that they don't take damage in the daytime. Alright, I'm just going to have them follow me through the nether. That wasn't too hard. Got him 300 blocks in the nether. So over 2,400 in the overworld. And let's see if he'll just go into the portal on his own. If not, I might have to... There we go. Oh, that's awesome. And there he goes. As far as ice goes, I've come to the top of a nearby mountain that has snow on top of it, and I brought a couple of buckets of water, and I'm just going to make a little lake and wait for it to freeze over. don't remember exactly how the mechanics work, and I'm not really going to look it up. But I think I need to cover like a diagonal line going across it so that these points don't freeze, and I think that'll preserve all the infinite water in here. Otherwise, if everything froze over, you wouldn't have any water anymore. Now, my theory was that I'd be able to put water in this back corner, but I'm realizing now it's not going to quite reach. Because I need these guys to be bobbing up and down in this exact corner, not just there. So maybe a second water change. No, well, it might work temporarily now that I've got them all over there. Yeah, that might work. Let me see if I can get one of these guys into a thing. There we go. And we've already got one, just with 3 villagers in there. There we go. Both cells are working, all loaded up. 2 golems every couple minutes. I'm going to leave this rail here for now, and I'm going to reuse it later to load up the other cells once I get the villagers. So that's the next thing I have to do, is breed up some more villagers. That was a lot quicker to build than I expected. Although they nerfed the really big farms like the Iron Titan and everything pretty hard, these smaller farms are actually a lot quicker to build, and they generate iron golems a lot quicker. Originally, my plan was to make just a single 6 villager iron farm, and then to move the other 2 villagers over into my permanent base and set up a proper villager breeder there. Now that I need 24 more villagers, I don't think breeding them 6 at a time is going to work very well. So I might need to look into a proper villager breeder. Moving right along, I am back here in the desert. Conveniently, I have a portal that leads right here. And I am in the desert because it is a great place to place a mob farm. You get a lot less rotten flesh and you get a lot more bone and stuff like that. So I need to dig down a couple of blocks here. I need to dig down like 4 blocks in order to just set up a clearing. I could probably just torch this area up, but I actually really want all this sand. I need some of it just to make glass for this build alone, and then I'm definitely going to end up using the rest of it. So I might as well just dig out a hole. That didn't take very long at all. With an efficiency 5 shovel, it's basically just insta-mining. I was able to clear this out really quick. What did take a while, though, was this chest right here. Not the fact that it's smooth stone, just the fact that it's stone. I just keep running out of the stuff. I had to make 2 special trips down to the mine just to haul up 2 inventories full of stone in order to fill this chest. So this is all the materials that I need, and this chest right here, somebody was nice enough to post a material list on the video for this build, and so it's kind of a slow trip through the nether, so hopefully I have everything I will need and I won't have to make another trip back. This farm was designed by Ilmango. Ilmango and Nembom are both members of the jCraft server, and they both made really amazing contributions to the Minecraft community. They are really cool tech builders who've designed a lot of farms and just in general helped us understand how Minecraft works a lot better. This is one of many very cool farms that Ilmango has created. This is a flushing mob farm. Instead of using dispensers, which could get out of sync with each other, this uses waterlogged half slabs. This isn't a particularly challenging build. There's not a lot of redstone involved. It's not super technical or anything like that, but it can be a bit tedious. There's a lot of just placing the same blocks over and over. There's like 20 levels, I think, plus the very, very large roof. That's why it required so much materials, and it just took a long time to build. I think it took me about 3.5 hours, and it's just very repetitive. I AFK'd at this farm overnight, and I ended up filling the entire item storage. My last mob farm like this only filled about 3 chests overnight, so I did not expect to fill 8 chests overnight. I actually ended up taking out all the rotten flesh just so I could deal with the overflow. So I'm going to have to expand this item storage immediately, and I'm probably going to want some sort of sorter that gets rid of the items that I don't want. Speaking of overfilled storage, I forgot to expand this iron farm storage before AFKing overnight, and now it is completely filled. This is what I came up with, and it may seem like overkill, but it's really not. So these 3 rows are just for gunpowder. These 3 rows are just for bone. I needed 3 item sorters for each of those because otherwise the items come down so fast and so many of them that some of them would actually get by and get destroyed. And I want to make sure to keep all the gunpowder and the bone. And then I got a row here for string and a row here for arrows. And these are already completely full. I don't care if these ones get passed by. 3 chests full of string is plenty. I probably only need 1 chest full of arrows. But for consistency, I put 3 boxes. And then I have 4 more sorters here. These are for spider eyes, redstone, glowstone. And I also did feathers, but I don't have enough to fill a filter yet. So at 41, these will start coming down. But that's a decent amount of redstone. I mean, I know I can make another farm for all of those, but I haven't yet. And I don't really want to throw them away. I'm not sure if it's really necessary to do the feathers. It's nice for books and quills. But there's not that many that comes through. But I built it, so these ones all spit out into this row of hoppers that spit into just one set of chests, so they're all sharing chests. I had to put it this way because otherwise any hoppers I put here get locked by these torches, and I don't want that. So I actually did another overnight session, and this thing is completely filled. So I actually need more chests than this. And the bone is completely filled as well. So I didn't expect that, but I did notice that these corners, this is probably the best one to look at, right here on this magma block, items were getting stuck. And I looked at Ilmango's original design, and that was happening there as well. So what I did was I went a block back and added a water source here to keep the water flow going so that they fall into a moving water source instead of onto a source block. Or the water would come down and it wouldn't be a source block, but some of the items would stick right there. And apparently it was quite a lot because I got like at least twice as many items from this last AFK session as I did from the first one. So it was leaving a lot of items behind. So at some point I'm probably going to do a shulker box loader for these 2 items at least. And then this is fine. Like, I don't need any more than that, and this will never fill up a single chest, so I don't need any more than that. But these ones, like gunpowder, used for rockets, gunpowder I'm going to use for TNT. I'm not going to do TNT duping, so I'm going to need a lot of TNT. And bone meal I can use for tree farms, bone meal I can use for wheat farms, carrot farms, that kind of stuff. I will definitely need a lot of both of these. So I want to keep as much of that as possible. And, you want to keep it as efficient as possible so that you don't have to AFK for as long. But I think that's a good place to finish the episode. I got 2 farms done. They're both pretty nuts. They have really high production rate, and I'm really happy about it. So thank you for watching. Have a good one.